You're looking for a printer that you can actually live with, something that prints reliably, doesn't eat up your time with constant maintenance, and feels like a solid investment instead of just another gadget with a long list of specs. That hesitation you feel when you stare at endless feature tables is real, especially when you've probably seen a half-finished shirt or a faded transfer and thought, I could have saved myself that mess. The risk of buying the wrong DTF system isn't just a wasted dollar. It's a wasted weekend and a lot of frustration. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started digging into the DTF market, the first thing I noticed was how many bundles promise a printer, an oven, and a heat press, but then hide the day-to-day quirks behind glossy marketing copy. The Procolored K13 Lite tries to be the all-in-one answer. It ships with a 13-inch A3 printer, a small DTF oven, and a compact heat press, all built around what they call LiteHead Technology and a white ink circulation system. The idea is simple. You load the printer, let it run, and the auto-clean cycle takes care of the printhead, while the oven and press finish the transfer in one go. Let's talk about the kind of person who will actually benefit from that workflow. If you run a small custom tee shop, do school project apparel, or even create limited-run merch for a local band, the K13 Lite gives you the ability to go from design to finished shirt in under an hour. The A3 width lets you handle standard-size graphics without having to stitch smaller pieces together, which saves time and keeps colors consistent across a larger canvas. The auto-clean feature means you're not spending half your day watching a printhead soak in a solution. The printer does a quick purge after each job, so you can move on to the next order. On the flip side, if you're a hobbyist who only prints a few shirts a month, the bundle might feel a bit oversized. The oven and press are functional, but they occupy a decent amount of bench space, and you'll end up paying for hardware you rarely use. In that scenario, a single-function printer or a smaller desktop DTF setup could be more cost-effective. Also, if you're expecting industrial-level speed, say, printing 30 shirts an hour, the K13 Lite's throughput will start to feel modest after the first couple of runs. Now, the practical strengths. First, the LiteHead technology is marketed as low-temperature and gentle on the ink, which translates into fewer clogged nozzles. In the few user videos I watched, the printhead stayed clean even after a day of continuous printing, and the colors stayed vibrant. That's a real win because DTF inks can be temperamental. You don't want a batch of prints that look washed out because the nozzle was partially blocked. Second, the white ink circulation system helps maintain color accuracy, especially when you're printing on dark fabrics. In a side-by-side comparison of a black tee printed with and without the circulation, the version that used the system showed a noticeably richer white, which matters when you're trying to make a logo pop. The bundled oven is a compact, heated chamber that cures the adhesive on the film before you press it onto fabric. It does the job quickly, about 3 minutes per sheet, and because it's part of the same system, you don't need to buy a separate curing unit. The heat press that comes with the bundle is a 1,515 centimeters unit, enough for most standard shirts, and it has an easy Toriad temperature dial. For everyday projects, the simplicity of a single knob and a timer is a relief compared to larger, digital presses that have a learning curve. But there are hidden trade-offs. The oven size limits the maximum film width to roughly the printer's A3 width, so you can't print a full bleed design that exceeds 13 inches without splitting it. That means an extra step if you want a large graphic across the chest of a tee. The heat press, while adequate for cotton and polyester blends, struggles a bit with thicker fabrics like heavyweight fleece. You'll need to apply extra pressure or run a second press cycle, which adds time. Also, the printer's top-loading paper tray holds about 100 sheets, which is fine for short runs, but becomes a nuisance when you're printing large batches. You'll find yourself reloading more often than you'd like. Another practical consideration is the software side. Procolored bundles the printer with a basic RIP that handles the DTF workflow, but it's not as feature-rich as some third-party solutions. If you need advanced color profiling or want to integrate directly with design software like CorelDRAW, you'll likely have to purchase an additional plugin. That's an extra cost that isn't obvious at first glance, but for a small business that relies on precise brand colors, it can be a necessary expense. So, who should walk away? If you're a full-time print shop owner already equipped with a separate oven and press, you might appreciate just the printer portion, but the bundle forces you to.